Welcome everybody. We're going to go ahead and get the webinar started today focusing on emails. And where I'm at right now is the Marketing Pro Setup Wizard. So as I said, this is going to be a webinar focusing on the setup of your account. Now the system is automatically designed to bring you to the Setup Wizard the first couple times you log in, but just in case you get lost, down here on the bottom left-hand side of the website, click Pro Setup. Pro Setup, and that will get you to where we're at, the Marketing Pro Setup Wizard. Now, up at the top here, you'll see a series of steps, and we will go over those steps together, and I'm going to highlight the most important ones, okay, the ones that have the biggest priority on them. The first thing that comes up is your profile, okay, and that automatically comes up when you bring up the Setup Wizard. So this should be the easiest thing that you do. Most of you will probably have a lot of it, if not all of it, filled out already. Okay, so just take a look, scroll down, make sure that your contact information is all filled out correctly, no spelling errors or anything like that. And then down at the bottom, make sure that you take a look at your disclosures. Okay, so we're talking about your broker-dealer approved, compliance approved disclosures for email and print. Make sure those are both in there. Again, probably in there automatically, depending. And of course, for the sake of this webinar today, I'm going to go ahead and assume that everyone here has an approved compliance department or a compliance department that is integrated with MarketingPRO. Okay, so this should be very easy. The only thing to remember about the profile is that this information here is client facing. So every time you send off an email, every time you send off a card, this is the information that we use on those communications automatically. Once that information is put in there, then just down at the bottom, you'll see this blue button that says update my profile. Click that, and that will automatically send it over to compliance. The next step is technically the credit card, but I don't cover that one because most people, if you need a credit card, you already have one at this point. So I'm going to go ahead and skip over that, and we're going to go to email settings. Okay, email settings. Everybody's favorite step. Now, this is as technical as we will get on this call, so let me explain this the best that I can. So when we're talking about email settings, what we're referring to here is the SMTP server. That is just a real fancy way of saying the outbound or the outgoing server. What server is delivering your emails from MarketingPRO? That is what this server setting is all about, okay? And from here, you're really looking at two different boats. You're either going to be in one boat or the other. The first boat is going to be with a compliance department that does not have any restrictions put on this. Okay, maybe you're unaffiliated, or maybe you're with a compliance department that is not saying that you have to use a specific server. The easiest way to tell if you're in that boat is by looking in the middle of your page and looking for something that says this: use the MarketingPRO SMTP server. If you see something that looks like that, then that means you're good to go. You can use whatever server you want, and that is the recommended course of action. You can always change it later, but using the MarketingPRO server initially is a little bit easier because you don't have to put in a password. There's nothing you have to do to validate it. You just click this button right here, save changes, boom, you're on the MarketingPRO server, okay? You can always change it later, and all that means is that MarketingPRO is using this email address right here, okay? So when clients receive an email from you, they're coming from you. When they reply, they're coming back to you. That no one will know what server is actually delivering those emails, if that makes any sense. Okay. Now, some of you, and I would say about 20% of you, if you end up using the MarketingPRO server, you might see a little warning that looks like this. You can't miss it. It'll be up at the top of your screen. It's a little orange button. Again, not everyone will see it. But if you do see that, I would just recommend giving us a call on the support line. That number is 866-254-6035. I'll make sure you get that information at the end of the call as well. And then we can go over this a little more specifically with you. I don't want to take too much time away from the webinar right now. So again, if you see that orange button up there, give us a call. We can help you through it. It affects only certain people. Okay, so that's just the one boat. Okay, about half of you will be in that boat. The other boat is for the people with a compliance department that does have restrictions. They say, you know what, in order to use MarketingPRO, you have got to use specific servers, okay? And you guys won't even see Marketing Pro as an option, but you will see something that looks like this. It's going to be a drop-down menu, more than likely, and it will have there in that menu the list of servers that you are allowed to use. So very common servers would be Office 365, Redtail, AppRiver, Google. So hopefully you already have some idea of what server you're using. Okay. Once the server is put in there, then you validate that with the username and password. Now, we're not talking about the username and password for Marketing Pro here. We're talking about the username and password for this email right here, your email address. Okay. So hopefully, once you put that information in there, it works on the first try, but I do understand that some servers are different. Some servers require different things. So if you are not familiar with this side of things, if you're not a technical person, I would maybe bring somebody in who can answer those questions. Maybe someone in your office, someone in your broker dealers, someone in an IT capacity, somebody who can track down this info for you. Okay. But once the info is in here, server address, username, password, it should be as easy as clicking Save Changes. And if it takes it, you can move on with the rest of your life. You're good to go. It's all done from there. Okay. So if you have any questions on that, you can always call support at the Marketing Pro team here. And again, I'll make sure you have that information as we move forward. Okay, as I promised, that is as technical as we get on this call. Everything else we talk about today will be a lot easier to digest. So the next thing is called the email template. This is very important, and this does require compliance approval. So the sooner you get this done, the better. Sometimes it can take several days for compliance to get to templates at times. Now, these are for your emails. So I'll go ahead and highlight that just because some people get confused as to what these actually are. What we're about to go over, the templates cannot be used for printing out materials. They cannot be used for social media, no Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter. They can only be used to send out electronic communications from Marketing Pro, and that is it. Now, you'll see that we have different styles of templates that you can choose from, all kinds of different ones. Today, though, I'm going to focus my attention on this style right here. This is the most popular email template style by a long shot. And the main reason for that is because these templates put all of your information up at the top of the email, as you can see here. So someone opens up an email from you, maybe they don't read it all the way, maybe they don't scroll down to the bottom, so that at the very least they're seeing your face, your logo, your branding, and that is the most important part about this by far. So if you don't have a logo and a photo, that's okay. We do recommend that you use both, but if you don't, that's okay. If you just have a photo, you can use this template right here. If you just have a logo, you can use this one. But for today's webinar, I'm going to go ahead and show you the one that has both. Again, this is what's recommended. Now, this is actually fairly straightforward. You can always use this picture here as a reference, but really you're going to break this down into three different sections. Number one, the images. Okay, we're talking about your logo and your photo here. Okay, your logo automatically goes up here on the right corner, and then your photo automatically goes up here on the left corner. Both of those images are rectangular in shape, just one is vertical and one is horizontal. So if you need any help with resizing or cropping images, let us know. That's what we're here for. Second category, easy. Is this your text fields? So we recommend your name, your email address, and of course your phone number. Technically though, you can put whatever information you want in there. Have at it. Then finally, there is a color scheme for the entire template where you do the background color and the text color, okay? So I do recommend that you do take just a minute or two and play around with these the best way that you can, okay? Just because I've seen so many people have, maybe an orange logo and maybe they're wearing an orange tie in their photo, but yet they don't change the background color. So they end up with orange and turquoise and blue and, it just doesn't go. So use the color palettes that we have here at your availability. Try to make your colors match the best way you can. You'll see here that there's actually a field you can put in the hex number for the colors to make it match exactly. And again, if you need any help with that, that's what we're here for. Let us know. It is very important to us here at Marketing Pro that your templates look as professional and as great as they possibly can. It makes all the difference in the world. So down there at the bottom, once your template information is all complete, then you'll just click Next, and then you will be prompted to save your template. Once your template is saved, then it automatically gets submitted for compliance review. Okay, you don't need to do anything there. You just have to play the waiting game and wait for compliance to review it. Now, once reviewed, this is what your template will look like. I've got a bunch here that I've got ready to go, and I'm going to pull up this one. And this is what the template looks like that we just went over when it is all done. So that is my very handsome face. Then that's our logo here. And you can see that I matched the colors exactly. And you know what? That doesn't look too shabby if I do say so myself. Now down at the bottom here, this may be a little tricky to see, but you've got a section here that says disclosures, email disclosures, okay? Now those are coming over from the profile. We looked at those a few minutes ago. So I just mentioned that is because every time you send off an email, this is where that information merges into. So in other words, every time you send off an email, those automatically fill in for you. Down here, they automatically fill in for you. Up here, your website, your contact info, all that, okay? Excelente. So we'll go ahead and I'm going to hit my back button. And we're going to talk about the next step, which is arguably the most important and arguably might take the most time. It just depends on your situation. But we are going to talk about your contacts. In fact, I'll get out the old highlighter again. So now we're on the contacts page. Everybody needs a database of contacts in MarketingPRO in order for you to distribute communications. Makes a lot of sense. So how much work you have to put into this completely depends on where those contacts are coming from. And again, I'm going to use the two-boat analogy because I love nautical terms, I guess. So you're either in one boat, which is going to be providing us an Excel spreadsheet. We're going to just do an upload for you with all your contacts. Or the other boat is going to be you're going to be able to sync your contacts with MarketingPRO. So that's where I'm going to start. Okay, so if you're able to sync your database, and by the way, this is what we recommend if you're able to do it, then down here at the bottom, you can click Sync Your Contacts, click here, and then you will be presented with either the Redtail, Salesforce, or Smart Office CRMs. Okay, so you've got to be a customer of one of these three in order to sync your databases. But again, if you are, this is the way to do it. It makes life easier for everybody because then your contacts just sync over from those sources, and then you're only maintaining those contacts from that particular database. Okay. Now, all three of these are essentially the same in terms of how they sync. There's different terminology, there's different rules involved sometimes, but overall, it's generally the same. I'm just going to use Redtail here as our example today. So you would click the Redtail logo, and then you'll see two gray buttons. You want the first one, the one that says Enable Redtail Sync, and then we're going to understand and agree to those terms. Then you'll be prompted for your Redtail username and your Redtail password, okay? And then you would click Verify. So all that's very easy. What you may need a little more help with is the next step, which involves choosing the scenario in which you want it to be synced, okay? And again, I would just recommend letting us know in the support queue or maybe after this webinar what your situation is exactly with Redtail, Salesforce, or Smart Office, and we can give you some more specific advice, okay? But in a nutshell, it is 10 times easier to use if indeed you are using Redtail, Salesforce, or Smart Office. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and hit my back button, and now I'm going to talk about the other boat, and that is going to be providing us with an Excel spreadsheet. So most of the time with those users, you're using a database that doesn't sync with MarketingPRO, like Wealthbox or maybe Outlook. So you would just do a straight export from your database. Most of the time it's pretty simple. A lot of times you can just Google those basic instructions if you don't really know how to do that. But at the end of the day, you'll be presented with a spreadsheet, okay? Now remember, just because it's on a spreadsheet does not mean it's ready for prime time. You want to make sure that that spreadsheet is in the correct format for us to be able to upload it. So what format am I referring to? Well, you're going to take a look at this blue button right here. It's in the middle of your screen. It says Download Excel Template, okay? You're going to click on that button, and that's going to produce a spreadsheet that looks like this. I will pull it up for you, and I'm going to get rid of this thing. Okay. So that spreadsheet is going to basically be a blank spreadsheet, and it's going to have merge terms on it, okay? And those merge terms are divided out. So for example, first name and last name, okay? Those are not in the same column. They are in separated columns. And I tell you, that is the most important part about this whole thing, okay? The spreadsheet has got to have the information divided out. Really, if you're looking good on that, then you're probably ready to go. Now, what you'll notice here is that this spreadsheet has a lot of different categories, a lot of different things that you can put in here. So, you know, if you don't have all these, that's no big deal. You can always erase some of them. But the ones that you absolutely need are first name, last name, and email address. That's the bare bones minimum. You have to have at least those three. But if you've got the address of your clients, give us your address, the home address, spouse information, gender, birthday. Oh my gosh, birthday is probably one of the coolest ones, just because you can run automated birthday email campaigns and birthday card campaigns, and you can divide your contacts by how old they are. You know, that kind of information is critical. So pop that information onto the spreadsheet here, save that spreadsheet, of course, and then you'll come back over to MarketingPRO, and then you will give us this spreadsheet via this button right here. So you'll give us the spreadsheet by clicking submit right there. That sends the spreadsheet over, and then we can upload those for you. Usually takes about 24 hours, okay? Now, as I said, the contact should be, you know, probably the most time-consuming part, just depending. You can upload groups, you can do groups in Redtail, you know, so there's other things that you can certainly do. But again, getting your contacts in here. Once those are done though, you're essentially ready to go. So let me just do a brief recap. What we've gone over already today is really all you need to worry about. So you've got your profile, you've got your email settings, your email template, which again requires compliance approval, and your database, your contacts. Once these 4 things have been completed, you are ready for prime time. And what I mean by that is you're ready to send out emails. And that's generally what people want to start out their MarketingPRO subscriptions with: automated emails, sending out emails, etc. Okay. So that is what we're going to cover today on today's webinar. I appreciate your time, and have a good day.